Okay, good morning, everybody. So what I like to do at the start of class is have a quick reminder of the things that we're going to be working on in the next week or two, with the due dates usually going up through the stuff through the first exam that we're going to have. So I also put all of this exact stuff right up in D2L, right in the announcements part. So you'll always have access to it there. So let's start with lab. Experiment 1 is in lab next week. Hopefully during lab this week it all became clear to you exactly which things you need to do in order to be properly prepared for experiment 1 in lab next week. Okay? It involves reading experiment 1, watching the pre-lab video, and passing the pre-lab quiz in D2L. All of those 3 things need to be done before you come to lab. Work on that pre-lab quiz well in advance of the lab itself, in case you need to contact me to have your attempts reset. Okay? I will be far more likely to do that if it's the day before than the day of. So work on that well in advance, please. You will need to have those things done in order to participate in lab next week. If there were any of you in here that did not come to lab this week, we did safety training in lab this week, and you need to do your safety training. You're required to have that done before you're allowed to do any experiments. So if you missed this week's safety training, please send me an email so that I can have a record of your name and I can get some things activated for you. We have an alternate way for you to do your safety training. Okay? So send me an email. I'll give you the details, but either way, that's due before lab next week as well. Okay? So if you came to lab, you did your safety quiz and stuff, you're all set. You just need to do the preparation for experiment 1. Okay? So, mastering chemistry, the intro assignment is due next Wednesday night. All of these are due at 11:59 p.m. We do 11:59, so there's no question about, well, it's midnight, but which of the dates is it, and so on. So everybody knows what date 11:59 p.m. happens on. Okay? So get that intro assignment out of the way. Get registered and logged in for mastering chemistry immediately if you have not yet. Okay? That intro assignment shouldn't take you very long, but you're going to want to be in there to start working on the Chapter 2 assignment, because we're going to start working on that stuff today, and you're going to want to be able to work on those things while they're fresh in your mind. So the other due dates are on the following Mondays going up after that. Let me know if you're having any trouble getting into mastering chemistry or issues or questions with that. Come and talk to me, and we'll get that figured out. But don't delay. Don't put that off until the evening that it's due, because you're going to have problems with your password or the registration or something. Get this stuff all taken care of well ahead of time. Plan ahead for that, and you'll be in good shape, I think. What else? You should be working through the textbook, doing the reading in anticipation of the topics that we'll be covering in lecture. So be checking the calendar and be reading along in the textbook. I would assign for you to have the rest of Chapter 2 read by next Tuesday. We're going to be working on Chapter 2 today, and both of the periods in class next week as well. So get all of Chapter 2 read by next Tuesday, so you'll at least be ready to discuss it. Like I said last time, there's no way you're going to understand the whole thing just by reading it 1 through in the textbook. If that were the case, there'd be no point for you coming to or taking this class. So read through it just to get some sort of familiarity. If something is confusing to you from reading through it, that's great. Okay? If you've got questions, come with questions. Okay? That only helps your understanding during class itself. Log into D2L. Many of you have introduced yourselves already in the discussion boards. I'm working on reading through those. I really enjoy reading those, and I'll respond to some of them too. Don't forget, as we start looking at actual chemistry content in here, as you're going through Chapter 2, if you run into something that is confusing to you, or if you run into something that you think may be helpful to your classmates, post that in the Chapter 2 discussions. Okay? You're required to average 1 post per chapter within those chemistry content discussions, the ones that are titled by their chapters. Okay? So, another thing for us to at least have an awareness of, this is on the calendar in your syllabus, but our first quiz is scheduled for Thursday, September 17. So that's about 3 weeks, I believe, from today. Is that right? Yep, that's 3 weeks from today. So you got some time yet. But the quizzes are just 20-25 minutes at the start of class. Okay, that's what quiz 1 is going to be. I will tell you pretty much exactly what's going to be on these quizzes, so there shouldn't be any surprises, but it's going to take a good amount of preparation for you to get ready for this, so I want to let you know about it right away. You will be quizzed on the names and symbols of common elements. Within D2L in the content area, same place you find all the other handouts and everything there is a handout that says names and symbols of common elements. Okay. There are 117 elements total on the periodic table, but most of those are not useful to us in an intro chemistry class. So what that list is the elements that are useful to us in an intro chemistry class. Print out that list. Okay. Start working through those. On that quiz, I will give you a name. You'll have to give it symbol, or I'll give you a symbol and you'll have to give its name. So we'll talk a little bit more about that moving forward, but what I would highly recommend is that you make note cards of those. Is that working there? Also in the links section of content, there's a link to something called Quizlet. Maybe next week or sometime I'll show that to you. But it's a website that has kind of electronic flashcards, but it's more than that. You can make your own quizzes for yourself. So it's a way of randomizing quizzes, and it has a learning mode, and it has some games in that. So check that out sometime. What I would recommend with the note cards is starting just with 5 of them, maybe 4 or 5. Just pick 5 easy ones, start with those, flip through those until you know them backwards and forwards, okay? And then maybe the next day add in a couple at a time, okay? Until by the time you get to September 17, you should be able to know those elements and those names and symbols. So have one of your friends or family members or stuff quiz you on those every once in a while, help you with the note cards, and you'll be all set. So that quiz is going to have names and symbols of the elements. It's going to have a couple of problems from Chapter 2, like the stuff that we'll be working on probably in class next week. So we'll talk more about that as we approach a little closer. Okay? So, there's a lot of announcements today. Anybody have any questions? I've already posted the completed notes and a video from last time. You notice I have the microphone here. I record audio and I record the screen from class each time, and I put those up. So that's handy for you to refer back to if you were confused about something during class, or if you have to go back and replay a part of our lecture. If you missed something in the notes or something, you can go back to that and refer to that all as much as you want. That'll be really helpful, especially as it comes closer to exam time when you're going back doing more studying. You can refer to any of those things you need to. Who has any questions? Anybody? We're all set? Well, certainly come on up here and talk to me after class, or visit my office hours if you got any concerns, and we'll get it figured out, okay?